It is important before anybody that operates this piece of equipment reads the operation manual. The operation manual is in the manual box right here. It consists of the standard Skyjack operations manual. As I said, it's very important that anybody that operates this lift reads this manual and understands everything in it. We also have an additional manual in the manual box that explains the operation of the special deck modification. After you have read the operation manual, you may start to operate the lift. But before you operate the lift, you need to do a pre-inspection of the lift. Some important things to inspect on this lift are the proper mounting and tightness of the lug nuts. As you can see, we have marks for the lug nuts. Make sure they are not broken. As you walk around the machine, you can open up the battery box compartment and inspect the battery connections to make sure they're tight. And at this time, also check the level of the water in the batteries. The water must be above the plates. As you walk around the machine, you will also try to observe for any hydraulic leaks and check also these bolts for the lug nuts and proper security of the steps. At this time, you can also push the E-stop in to make sure that the power is killed. While we're in this area, I will also show you the operation of the ground control. To operate from the ground, you have to hold the key in the ground position and actuate the toggle for lift. You may also lower the machine by holding the key in this position and turning the toggle the other way. As we have the lift up, we can also inspect for any loose connections or pins. Make sure all the hardware is installed properly. And the functionality. A brief inspection of the cylinder and the mounting bolts for the cylinder and the pivot pins for each one of the stack arms. Along with the slider pads and the mounting of the stop arm. So after we have looked through all the scissor stack and the switches and the mountings, we can lower the lift back down using the ground control. Now we can open up the side hydraulic compartment. With the lift fully lowered, the oil level should be very close to the top of the sight glass. At this time, we will check for leaks and also look underneath the machine for any signs of oil leaks. For a more in-depth pre-inspection, always consult the Skyjack manual. Now we'll go on to the deck modification that Manlift Manufacturing has done. This deck actually extends this way instead of the normal way that a deck extends out the front. Okay, that is the only difference. But the operation of the machine is exactly the same as a standard Skyjack. The weight capacity of this platform is 600 pounds. And 600 pounds could also be full 600 pounds on the extended part of the deck. We have two entry gates, one in the back and also an entry gate on the side. The entry gate on the side is not to be used for getting in and out from the ground. Only the entry gate in the rear. In order to operate from the platform, you must first make sure the e-stop is pulled out and you see the red light. The spring, the key switch is always in the platform mode, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to open the gate this way, and it's always a 3-point contact. 2 hands and 1 foot, 2 feet and 1 hand. Always 3 points. Make sure the entry gate is closed. With the platform control, it's a standard Skyjack platform control. This is the e-stop. When the e-stop is pushed, there is all operations of the lift stop. So in order to operate from the platform control, the e-stop must be pulled out. The battery indicator indicates that you are fully charged or just about almost full charge. You're in the green plus. What we have here is a horn. And we have a lift and drive selector switch. When the switch is all the way this way, you're in drive mode, meaning that when you grab the joystick and pull the enable switch, if you push forward or back, you will go forward or reverse with the drive. If you switch to lift mode, now when you push forward, you will raise the lift, and when you pull back, you will lower the lift. We also have a middle position here. The middle position is off, where all controls are dead, except the horn. Switch back to drive position. We also have 2 speeds for drive. This speed here with the toggle switch all the way back is high speed. Toggle switch forward is low speed, high torque. If you're going up a grade or a hill, you always want to be in low speed. Normal travel, you can have the switch back into high speed. The joystick controls always has what we call an enable lever. That is right here. If you move the joystick without pulling the enable, no operation will happen. We also have on the top of the joystick 2 toggles to steer left and steer right. Steer right, steer left. You must pull in the enable switch, then push the toggle switches. In order to operate the slide-out deck, you must have the toggle switch in lift position at all. Then we go over to the controls for the slide-out deck. You must push both toggle switches up to extend the deck, and down to retract. If you let up on one, the operation will cease. You will not be able to operate any other functions of the lift with the deck extended. No lift up or down or drive forward and back. Let's test it. Two hydraulic cylinders are used to extend the deck out. We also have some wear pads in here. And this is the limit switch that determines the deck is out. And if this limit switch, when the deck is out, is not made, no operation from the platform is permitted. You are able to raise and lower with the ground control with the deck out. To retract the deck, power fails, or if there's an electrical problem, you can always lower the deck by using the emergency lower button. In order to do that, we have to first release the holding valve on the cylinder. To release the holding valve, we never want to put our hands in harm's way, so we use this bar. We'll put the bar right onto the holding valve red button and turn it out. We may now pull out the red button. Remember, before lowering the scissors, make sure there's no obstruction and nobody's underneath in harm's way. If you have to, you can retract the deck first with the ground controls. If you cannot retract the deck because of no power or electrical failure, you need to move the scissors away from harm's way first before you lower. I'm going to show you now how to release the brakes. After you lowered with the emergency lower, you must always close the holding valve off again. Push down and turn clockwise. The holding valve has been reset. And now I will show you how to release the brakes, the emergency brakes, in case there is no power on the machine. Before we release the brakes, we always have to chock the wheels. The instructions for the brake release are right here. But really what we have to do is push the black button in, all the way in, and we pump the red hand pump until a firm resistance is felt. The brakes are now hydraulically released and you can push the machine to where you need to. Caution, when you're pushing the machine, you should never go over 2 miles per hour. And you should always be aware that the brakes are released now. To deactivate the emergency brake release, all you have to do is drive the machine and it'll automatically reset itself. Just a couple more items. One is, right here is the main battery disconnect for the machine. This will disconnect the batteries from any electrical components in the machine. It also has a space here for lockout tagout. This is where you would install the lock for a lockout tagout. To charge the battery, all you'll have to do is pull the battery charger cord and plug it in. This charger is completely automatic and will turn off and give a trickle charge after the batteries have been fully charged. It'll start out with 1 light and gradually move to 2 and then 3. 3 flashing lights or 3 steady lights will tell you that the batteries are fully charged. It's a good practice to always plug in the battery charger when the lift is not in use to extend the life of the batteries. This concludes the basic operation video of this machine. For further information, always consult the manual for the manufacturer of Skyjack and also the additional manual that has the information for the slide-out deck. Remember, when the deck is out, the limit switch is not contacted, there'll be no motion. Remember to always close the gates before operating. Thanks.